Hello and welcome to the last session in this 90-day planning course. Hopefully by now you've got everything done, you've got your goals in your calendar and you're all ready to go. However, there is that issue with that challenge of making sure that you actually do take action on your goals. It's really easy to think that you're done once you've created your beautiful plan, and the danger is that it can end up in a drawer or stuck on a wall looking beautiful with nothing happening. Although, as I say, hopefully you've got all your actions in your calendar and you are starting to take action already. But I do get that life can get in the way of you taking the actions that you need to take. So hopefully this last session will give you some top tips and guides on keeping you on track to make sure that you do achieve as many of your goals actions as possible. But I thought it might be worth just having a little bit of a recap, because it can be quite challenging coming up with your goals. So I thought let's have a look at an alternative way of looking about this if you're struggling with it. So it might be worth looking at the stage that your business is at. And broadly speaking, depending on where your business is at, you will have different goals. So your business could be growing, you want to grow your business, or you've got it to a place where you're happy with it, you're really happy with what it's delivering and you want to keep it there, or finally, and hopefully not, but your business may be struggling. So you will, for example, have much more aggressive sales targets and goals for getting new clients if you're in the growth phase. If you're happy with your current business levels, your goals may be much more focused towards delighting your existing customers to make sure that they are happy and stay with you, or you might be looking at coming up with new products that add to what you give for those clients. And finally, if you are struggling, your goals are much more likely to be around financial management and the actions you need to take in order to get to a profitable position. Of course, there may be interchangeable goals between each of them, but you will have much more focused and specific goals depending on where you're at. Now, in the bonus module at the end of this, I have included a whole list of goals and measures by different areas of your business that will hopefully give you some inspiration for your own, and that you can adapt to suit yours. So if you are struggling, do go and have a look at that and go and pick and choose some that will work for you. And then just to recap on on setting your goals and making sure that they are really measurable and it makes it easy for you to track, I thought I'd have a recap on some of this goal planning and making sure that you've got the right measures in place to make sure that you are tracking and on target to hit those goals. Now, I've got these rather strange measures called lag measures and lead measures. And the lag measure is kind of your end of year goal. So it's kind of by the time you've got to the end of the year, if you haven't hit your £120,000 sales, as we're using as an example here, you've missed the boat. And what we want to get to are the lead measures. So these are the measures that you can track to make sure that you're on target. So these are your lead measures. Hopefully, if you've gone through the planning process properly through this course, you will have got to this point in the in-depth action setting thing to get to those exact goals. So let's go through this example. So the goal is to increase revenue in the business by 20%, and that looks like £120,000. So if you get to the end of the year and you've got £120,000 worth of sales, you'll have hit your target, your goal of increasing revenue by 20%. But in order to track where you are, you need to identify all the actions that you need to take day by day, week by week, in order to make sure that you hit that figure. So in this particular example, we've worked out that in order to hit £120,000 of sales a year, we need to be making £2,400 worth of sales every week, and I based it on a 50 week year. And we've worked out that in order to make 2 sales a week, we need to make 100 cold calls or calls in order to make 20 discovery calls. And if we do that, we will get those 2 sales, and on the assumption that each sale is worth £1,200 to us. Hopefully you don't need to go through this in order to get your 2,400, but it's an example. So these are the measures that you can track each week to know that you are going to be on target. This can be quite difficult. So another example to look at it might be going on a diet, as we're at the beginning of the year. So your goal could be to lose weight, and your lag measure is that you want to lose a stone in weight by the end of the year. So that's your lag measure. In order to make sure that you lose that stone, your lead measures are to make sure that you take 4-mile walks at least 4 times a week, that you only drink 1 glass of wine a week, and you keep your daily calorie intake to 1,500 calories a day. And that if you do each of that religiously, week in, week out, you will have lost your stone in weight by the end of the year. Now, I'd just like to say at this point that I completely made up those figures. I am not a dietitian, so please do not use them as an official guide to losing weight during the year. They're all really good things to do, but you need to get professional advice rather than from me. Okay, good. So that's enough of the recap. Hopefully that makes sense. Do look at the success bonus list at the end. That will help give you some ideas as to what those very objective measures might look like. So the next thing we want to look at is keeping you on track. So you've got the right metrics. Now we need to keep you on track. So here are some top tips to help keep you tracking along through the year. So the first one is keep using your accountability actions to keep you on track. And this is where having that high-level goal sheet up on the wall helps to remind you. So it's got the high-level goals, the accountability, and that will help keep you on track to remind you. And each day, have a planning session. Make sure that you're planning the activities that need doing. And so that's checking your calendar on the system or whatever system you're using to track your activities. And just remember that an end date that's in your calendar doesn't necessarily mean that's the day you're going to do the work. So look at the whole week coming up to see what's coming up as well, and if you may need to put in some smaller activities to keep you moving to that end date. So where I used the example in the last session of writing my homepage for my website, a subtask might be to brainstorm the structure of that page before I start writing the copy, so you might want to put that in there. So making daily lists is really helpful, but really don't have any more than 3 actions on that list so that you do stand a chance of completing them. If you have too many, you're going to get overwhelmed. So put the ones to the side that aren't due yet and come back to them at the right time. And keep your list visible. I use sticky notes on my laptop, which are like online post-it notes. So I've got lots of different colour ones depending on if I'm working for a different client or it's my personal stuff. Little sticky notes up there with the actions on there to remind me. You might want the physical post-it notes. Other people have a to-do planner in front of them which they can cross off the stuff. I like sticky notes because I can actually score through on my laptop when I've finished something. So at the end of the day I can see a long list of stuff that I have actually completed. It's really important to review at the end of the day to see where you've got to. Did you get everything done? Or did you miss anything? Did you get distracted? Have a review of why. Was it not the right time to do that? In which case you could move that activity to a different date. Do you need to move it to tomorrow, or did you just not get round to doing it because you didn't want to do it? So one of those dreadful sales calls that you might have needed to make but you managed to put off. So do a review, challenge yourself as to why you didn't do stuff that you did do, and then you can use that to start planning for the next day. So you get your plan ready for the next day, so by tomorrow you're ready to go. If you do feel despondent or you lose your mojo, which can happen, remind yourself, go back to your high level goal sheet and remind yourself of how good it's going to feel when you hit that goal, or the difference it's going to make to your business if you hit it. So you're going to be profitable at the end of next month, which means that you can put some money aside to do some development work, or you can pay yourself some money to go on a lovely holiday. Keep reminding yourself of the end goal and connect to the emotion of how good that's going to feel when you get there. It's really important to tie emotion to those goals, and make sure that it's keeping you motivated. And remind yourself of how you are going to stay on track. So there's those accountability things. So it might have been that you were going to check in with somebody every day. If you've not done it, get yourself back on page with that. Make sure that you do. Now, if you've completed some tasks, do make sure that you celebrate them. Remember, every step in the right direction, no matter how small, is an achievement, and it takes you one step further towards your success. So do make sure you celebrate it. It might even just be doing a little happy dance around the kitchen, getting on a piece of your favourite music. It might be treating yourself to 10 minutes with a nice cup of tea and a biscuit and reading a bit of magazine. But make sure that you do celebrate. We're too good at beating ourselves up and not good enough at celebrating our successes. It might be to have a vision board that will excite you. So here is mine. It's just little pictures or cartoons that make me happy. I've included on it my actual target. So 10,000 steps is about 4 miles for me. And it's about meditating, reminding myself that if I do achieve everything I want to achieve, I'm going to have a lovely holiday. So these are the things that help me. So it's my purpose. I've got little fun pictures, what I want to do with the money that I'm going to earn, my financial target, and my keeping healthy and fit targets, and my celebration targets. I have this as a screensaver, so this pops up on my laptop whenever my screen goes into quiet mode. I have had previous ones which I've just cut out things from magazines and stuck them on a board and had those up. Really, whatever it is that works for you. Again, it's just another way of keeping you motivated and keeping you excited and keeping you engaged with everything that your goals are going to help you achieve. So next we're going to look at some more structured ways of tracking your business on a weekly, fortnightly, monthly basis. So the first one is we're going to have a look at meetings. So this is a meeting structure that is really successful in large companies, and also works really well for smaller companies too. And whilst it works for businesses with teams of people, you can still get this to work for you if you are a solo business owner. I'm a solo business owner, and I have a fellow business coach who I have a 2 weekly meeting with, and we each take it in turn to go through our progress and next actions. So if you are a solo business owner, is there somebody you can partner up with? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach of your own that you can go through this process with? So the key thing to this weekly meeting is this structure. And the first bit is that the meeting rules are you have a regular meeting date and time, and it's the same day every week, fortnight, month, whatever frequency you decide it is, but it's same, it's regular. You have the same agenda, which is this. It starts on time, it ends on time, and this meeting should be absolutely no more than an hour. Otherwise you start losing people's focus. If there's more than one of you, you have a leader to make sure that the meeting progresses at pace and through the right sections at the right time. And the rule is everybody attends. There's no there's no don't feel like it. It's you're all in it, we all attend without fail. So the process of this meeting is you start off with a celebration. So everybody tells you something good that's happened to them since you last met, and or it might be special mentions. So somebody's sold something brilliant, so you mention them in dispatches, or something you've won an award and the company's really delighted. So you start off with this positive mindset of everybody telling you something good that's happened to them, and anything good that's happened in the business. Just rattle through this. This shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. And then the next thing is you look at your metrics. So these are all the list of things that you've decided that you are going to track your business. And again, this section is pretty quick. Again, it shouldn't take much more than 5, maximum of 10 minutes is to go through those metrics. Did you hit them? Which ones did you miss? Have all the actions been taken? And if they haven't, is that a result of any issues? And what are the issues that you want to discuss? You don't go into the whys and wherefores of anything at this point. You just go through at a high level what you've achieved, what's been missed, and any issues. And then you go into the meat of the meeting, which is to go through the issues. It's to have a look at them in detail, find out what they are, why they've happened, and to really delve deep into those issues as to what's caused them to happen, and to look at any possible solutions, and off the back of that, the next actions that you're going to take. And if actions haven't all been taken from the previous meeting, to have a look at those, to go, well, actually, were they the right action, and at the right time? So it might be that the action hadn't been taken for a reason that it wasn't, didn't need to be done yet, but it could be for other reasons. Somebody didn't want to do something. Look at all those, and then work out what the actions are going to be, and these are the actions that you're going to take in the next time period before the next meeting, not in 3 months' time, but the actions that you're all going to take before you meet next time. And then we've got this whole accountability section to end up with, is everybody commits to their actions, and you document who has said what they're going to do, when they're going to have done them by, and they get committed to paper. So why is that last bit of that meeting section so important? Accountability is really important at in terms of making sure that something succeeds. So having a plan on its own is great, and if you have a plan, you're 50% much more likely to achieve your plan than somebody who's not got one. This chances of success increases to 60% if you share your plan with others. So if nothing else, make sure that you've shared your plan with at least one other person so that they can see what you're going to do. If you then add in accountability, that is, I, Karen Espley, am going to do this thing by this date, and you document it and you tell somebody else about it, then your chances of success increase to a whopping 90%. And actually, the more people you tell that to, the better. And which is why that meeting structure is really powerful, and also why mastermind groups work so well, because there's a massive power in group accountability. And I know we're all supposed to be self-motivated, but actually not wanting to let other people down is an incredible motivator. So make sure that you add accountability into your process. The next bit is looking at visual aids to help you monitor your progress. Visual aids are really powerful. They can turn complex ideas into really simple notions. As per this car skidding across the road, it's immediately obvious what it is, rather than that whole screed of writing to the side of it all. And from a psychological perspective, we retain 10% of what we hear, 20% of what we read, but 80% of what we see and do. So it's really useful to try and turn your measures into a visual aid. And for some reason, it works so well on increasing productivity. If people can see a line moving, it gets into some sort of positive mental attitude where you can see the improvement, and it gets this virtuous circle if improvement happens. So what you need to try and work on are the the measures and visuals that are going to work best for you, and work on what those targets are going to be. And then finally, I'll look at some huddle boards as a way of helping you keep everything on track. So let's have a look at some examples of visual target tracking. The next two ones I use all the time with my clients, and these are your sales trackings. So you've got your sales targets that you've worked out for the year, and then we've got the cumulative actual sales. So here you can track, so each month this is what you wanted to achieve during the year, and you can see each month how sales have gone up against that target. Ignore this flat line here, it doesn't mean nothing's happened, it's just that that was the tracking point at which the data was taken. And you can see visually really clearly, and it's really motivational for people to see where you are against those targets. And the other side is that if it dips below the line, for example, you can start taking immediate action to understand why they're dipping and get back on target, rather than waiting till 6 months after year end when your accountant sends you your details and tells you things haven't gone quite so well. So that's a really good way of visually tracking, and this one is just a month by month bar chart. So again, you can see here each month's target and how you've done against it. So against that lovely visual thing that you can see. And this last example is just an operational one. So this is the massive backlog here. This blue stuff is the massive backlog, and you can see here each week they're tracking it, so you can see how stuff is moving through, and you want everything to be in the grey. So by the time you've got to the end of 4 weeks, the backlog is all physically down here, and it's now at the manageable levels, and this work has all been done. Again, it's just a really lovely visual way for people to see, yes, we're on target, we're achieving things. So some top tips about your visuals. They need to be easy to read. It needs to be blindingly obvious what the graphics are showing. So this one is a classic one, a case in point. So easy to see. You can see the target, you can see how you're doing against it. They need to show progress. Like this one, where you can see the backlog is going down, and they need to be updated. You need to be regularly updating. So again, it needs to be a simple way of getting that data so that you can put it into your chart. It's really important that the whole team can see that, so it needs to be up on the wall, or if we are working remotely, a PowerPoint slide or a PDF chart that people can see regularly and comes into your meeting so people can see how things are doing. And that's the last one. It needs to be included in your meetings so that you can either celebrate where you've gone ahead of target or hit target, or work on the actions you need to take to get back on target. So finally, we're going to have a look at huddle boards. So these are another another way of visually tracking your progress. And typically they're used in conjunction with your weekly meeting. So you could have your information on a whiteboard, such as this one, if you're all based at the same location, or again, if we're working remotely, you would have a remote whiteboard that everybody can access. So this example, just looking at 3 key areas of the business, marketing, ops and sales, with the actions that are going to be taken in the next time period. And here we've got lovely graphics, so where are we going with the graphics that are going to be delivered, and again sales targets, so again you can physically see the sales target, so you can see, well, there's the target, and then you can put in the actual. and you can record your successes, what are the great things that have happened, and then this is your accountability section. So what are the commitments, who is going to commit to do what in the next time period, and then as time goes on you can just pop your issues into there. So the idea is that this is sort of dynamic. So this sort of top bit is the static for each week. So each week you would update this with what the tracks are, and then the actual data as it's come in. And then add in this dynamic bit where you can put in what the successes are, and people can jot down their issues, and say at the end of the meeting you type this up, so then at the end of the meeting you have a really nice quick visual aid of what's gone on over the last week, what's gone well, what the issues are, and what people are going to be doing. So that's a more formal one. And then we've got one sort of a slightly more fun one, if that's what you prefer. Again, we've got the targets here. This is what that's what we're going to do. That's what was actually achieved. And again, just some actions. This is exactly, John's going to do some stuff, Sarah's going to do stuff, and Mike's going to do some stuff. Again, if you're in a office environment, you can stick some post-it notes up during the week, so someone's come up with some ideas. You might have some fun stuff, a quiz night's coming up, or a cartoon, and again, wins and celebrations. So really whatever it is that works for you. And then this final one is one that might appeal more to creative people. Again, anything goes here, so it's really, you stick pictures up, pictures of yourself again, but put some of your actions up there so you can see what stuff is going on. Again, nice pretty visual. The important thing is that whatever you use has to work for you and your team, and it's got to excite you. So you can, this one might excite you, this one might appeal much more to you if that's where your frame of mind is. So in summary, the end of this course is understanding what success looks like for you, work out what your goals are and your actions, work out the metrics that you're going to regularly measure. I encourage you to have weekly meetings, but I have them fortnightly, whatever works best for your business. Have those weekly meetings following that structure to help keep you on track. Incorporate visuals which will excite you. It means everybody can see exactly what's going on and where you're tracking against your targets, so that you can take steps to change things quickly. Make sure that it works for you and your team, so that everyone's on board and you can see it and be excited by it. And obviously this last one is get accountability. Make sure you've got that accountability. Make sure that it's out there with your name against it, that you are committing to do your actions by a certain date. And please have fun with it. Let's have fun with our business. After all, we're spending all this time on it. It's really important that we can have fun and have a good laugh with it. So thank you so much for doing this course. I hope you found it useful. And that you now have everything to make sure that you have kick-ass goals for the next 90 days, which you feel really confident that you can achieve. And the beauty of this course is that you can just rinse and repeat. You can use these resources time again each month, each 3 months, to do another 90 days so that you can get through for the year. If you found the course useful, I'd really love to hear from you, so please do get in touch, Karen@thechameleonguide.com. If you would like help with your planning process, I do offer 2-hour sessions that we can run through everything to make sure that you have got everything in the most objective and smart manner. And I also do offer regular 1-hour monthly accountability sessions sort of over a 12-month period, if that's helpful for people. If you would like more details and costs about those, please do email me. Again, it's Karen@thechameleonguide.com. And don't forget, I have that offer for you to send your high-level goal page to me, and I'd be really happy to review it and tighten that up for you as part of this course. Thank you so much, and Now, all that remains for me to say is go forth and smash those goals.